K-drama casting directors love throwing together the most unexpected actor pairings. And while this recipe for chaos sometimes gives us absolute fire-on-screen chemistry that has us all swooning, the reality behind the scenes can be a completely different story. From ice-cold stares during press conferences to avoiding each other like the plague between takes, some of K-drama's most beloved pairings were actually living their worst nightmare having to work together every single day. A perfect example of this nightmare scenario went down during the production of Cheese in the Trap, a drama that should have been known for its great university romances, but instead turned into one of the messiest behind-the-scenes disasters K-drama fans have ever witnessed. The show followed the twisted relationship between hard-working scholarship student Hong-sol and Yoo-jung, a rich heir to the Taerong group who looked like the perfect senior on the surface, but was actually a master manipulator who got a kick out of destroying anyone who dared to annoy him. What started as Sol trying to figure out whether this guy was genuinely nice or a total menace turned into a complicated love story filled with childhood drama, family secrets, and enough emotional baggage to sink a ship. But while the on-screen drama was already intense enough with all the mind games and romantic tension, the real chaos was happening behind the cameras, where it seemed like the entire drama crew had collectively decided they couldn't stand Park Hae-jin, the actor playing the manipulative male lead. Fans started picking up on the fact that something was seriously wrong when they noticed that Yoo-jung, who was literally supposed to be the center of the entire story, was mysteriously getting less and less screen time as the episodes went on, almost like the writers were actively trying to write him out of his own drama. Instead of focusing on the twisted romance between Hong-sol and Yoo-jung, the show suddenly started putting all its energy into following In-ho, the brooding pianist rival who was supposed to be just a supporting character, but was now getting treated like the real male lead. It didn't take long for the truth to come out because it turned out that the production team seemed to have a serious problem with Hae-jin, and they weren't even trying to hide it anymore as the drama went on. According to reports that came out later, not only were tons of scenes being altered during the filming process, but massive chunks of Yoo-jung's character development and backstory were getting shortened or completely thrown in the trash, with all that focus getting shifted over to In-ho's storyline instead. The changes became extremely obvious by episode 9, but by the time the later episodes aired, Hae-jin was barely appearing on screen at all, while So Kang-joon was carrying entire 2-hour episodes by himself, making it look like the writers had completely given up on the original plot. In interviews, Hae-jin revealed that he'd actually chosen the role of Yoo-jung specifically because he was a huge fan of the original webtoon and wanted to do justice to the complexity of his character. But instead of getting to bring that vision to life, he found himself completely confused and frustrated as the producers kept making changes to his character, turning what should have been a nuanced performance into a supporting role that didn't even make sense anymore. And if that wasn't bad enough already, netizens discovered that the production team had been cutting Hae-jin's already recorded lines from episodes without even bothering to tell him, and then allegedly completely forgot to invite him to the cast's reward vacation trip, which was basically the ultimate slap in the face that proved they were actively trying to freeze him out of his own drama. In a later interview, Hae-jin opened up about some scenes that had been mysteriously deleted from the final cut, revealing that as a huge fan of the original webtoon, he was completely devastated watching important plot points get thrown away for no good reason. He explained that there were crucial scenes he'd filmed with Kim Ki-bang's character Gong Joo-young that would have shown their childhood friendship, and explained why Gong Joo-young held such a deep grudge against Yoo-jung. But those scenes never made it to air, even though they were absolutely necessary for understanding the story. Unfortunately, the problems with Hae-jin didn't just stay contained to the filming set either. They followed him into every single aspect of the drama, including promotion and merchandise, proving that this wasn't just some misunderstanding. When the official OST was released with a collector's edition photo book that normally would have made fans super happy, it instead restarted the conversation around Hae-jin's completely downgraded role in the drama. The photo book was packed with tons of behind-the-scenes shots of Kim Go-eun, So Kang-joon, and Lee Sung-kyung, but Hae-jin was completely missing from the entire collection, except for appearing on the drama poster that was used as the cover. When netizens started asking questions questions about why the male lead was basically invisible in his own drama's merchandise, the distributors came up with the excuse that Haejin's team had only given permission to use the cover photo, but not any pictures inside the album. Haejin's side immediately shot back that the production team had only asked for permission for that one poster photo, which exposed that the production team was still causing problems even after the drama had finished airing. Things got even messier when it started looking like Haejin's own co-star, Kim Go-eun, was turning against him, which was the kind of betrayal that would make anyone question whom they can actually trust in the industry. A post showed up on Go-eun's fan cafe, trying to do damage control after an interview she gave, where her team claimed that the interview wasn't published the way it was actually conducted and that it had been edited. The problem was that in the original interview, Goeun had made some remarks about how regrettable it was that the drama became such a mess because the actors themselves became the controversies, and literally everyone interpreted that as a dig at Hae-jin. However, fans weren't exactly buying the narrative that Haejin was somehow the one causing problems on set, especially since he'd built up a reputation over the years as being incredibly professional and dedicated across multiple projects. The real problem was rumored to be coming from the producer's blatant favoritism towards So Kang-joon, which became more and more obvious as the drama went on. According to fans, when the drama was first gaining popularity, cast members had been gushing about the amazing team spirit and how the producer encouraged everyone to have fun and improvise, but apparently all that good energy disappeared once the producer started getting way too attached to one particular actor. Fans theorized that the producer had been treating Kang-joon like her special project, going as far as allegedly calling him Appa in a questionable way that made it clear who her favorite was. Some conspiracy theories even started floating around that this whole mess was actually a calculated move to boost Kang-joon's image before he jumped into his next big TVN project, or that there was some kind of shady money situation happening behind the scenes, though most people figured the reality was probably way less dramatic and more about a producer who just couldn't control her obvious bias. Although we'll never know for sure what exactly went down during the drama's production, it's clear that this experience messed with Hae-jin on an emotional level, and the pain he felt came through loud and clear in interviews he gave after the show wrapped up. He opened up about how he didn't want to do anything after the drama ended, revealing that he went through a seriously rough patch that left him questioning everything about his career and his place in the industry. When fans started complaining that the drama had become way too focused on In-ho instead of the original storyline, Hae-jin did something that was both heartbreaking and incredibly classy. He actually apologized for something that wasn't even his fault. He admitted that the focus shifted to In-ho's character and explained how sad it made him to hear this criticism, while simultaneously letting everyone know he secretly also wished things had gone differently. The drama with Hae-jin was just the tip of the iceberg when it came to how dysfunctional the production had become, because the producer was also having a major conflict with Seung-ki, the writer of the original webtoon. Reportedly, it all started when Seung-ki asked the production team to change the ending so it wouldn't spoil her ongoing webtoon for readers who were still following the story online, which seemed like a totally reasonable request from the person who created the characters in the first place. However, after Seung-ki made this request, the production team allegedly completely cut her out of any planning or writing decisions once filming actually started. Things got worse when the production team came up with their planned ending right before filming episode 14, and it turned out to be almost identical to Seung-ki's original webtoon ending that she'd shared with them in confidence. Reportedly, the production team went ahead with their original plan anyway, despite Seung-ki asking them to change it, which caused a lot more unrest among fans. Eventually, producer Lee Yoon-jong had to issue a public apology to Seung-ki through an official statement, in which a spokesperson expressed their remorse for the direction the drama took and admitted they'd failed to consult with the original author on some final scripts, apologizing for not considering her feelings and for bringing inconvenience to the cast members who'd gotten dragged into this mess. In reality, though, the damage was already way too massive to fix at that point, and the whole controversy had completely tainted the show's image, turning Cheese in the Trap into one of the most unprofessional productions in K-drama history. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to not miss the next video. But that wasn't the only time tension spilled beyond the screen. Other actors have clashed in unforgettable ways. You may be looking at this photo of popular Korean actors thinking that these are the best of friends. Well, what if we told you that they actually hate each other? That and many other cases of Korean actors feuding is what we'll uncover today. If you love yourself a good lovers to enemies story, then Koo Hye-sun and An Jae-hyun's messy relationship might be exactly your cup of tea. The two first worked together in 2015 when they starred together in the drama Blood. Only a year later, they revealed their relationship and even got married, making it look like they were going to be the perfect couple. All seemed perfect until August 2019, when Hye-sun shocked everyone filing for a divorce. Looking pretty desperate, she wrote, "My husband, who changed his mind about our marriage because he's bored of it, wants a divorce, but I want to keep my family together." Although she said he was the one wanting the divorce, she was actually the one who filed for it, so the whole story wasn't adding up since the beginning. To make things even crazier, Hye-sun shared their private text messages in which she was practically begging Jae-hyun not to inform the press about their divorce, since her mother was ill and wouldn't be able to take it. Hye-sun's legal team then revealed she actually never agreed on a divorce in order to protect her family and her mother's deteriorating health. It was a lie after a lie because Hye-sun was the one who revealed the divorce to the public, and Jae-hyun was the one who tried to keep everything private. Although the two became famous for their relationship, it's clear that it was a disaster behind the scenes. Initially, the reason behind the divorce was that Jae-hyun simply just got bored, but sometime later, Hye-sun said that they parted ways because he had an affair with another actress, which shocked everyone. She had to come clean after Dispatch revealed 2 years of text messages between her and Jae-hyun. The two were going back and forth with each other in the media, making their split everyone's problem. At some point, Jae-hyun shared his side of the story and revealed that Hye-sun broke into his apartment while they were separated. He accused her of distorting the truth and even confessed that he'd been battling depression in the last year of their marriage. Long story short, they clearly weren't on good terms at all since they were publicly accusing each other of lying. The pair completed their divorce in July of 2020, which Hye-sun celebrated by posting pictures of her looking very happy. Hye-sun practically vanished from the industry after this scandal, and it's reported that she's now keeping a low profile and working as a movie director. Recently, she also shared the exciting news that she graduated university with high honors, so she's definitely doing better now. Moving on, let's talk about the public feud that Ye-won and Lee Tae-im had in 2015. Back then, a video was released of the two having a conversation on the set of Tutoring Across Generations. At first, nothing seemed wrong as Ye-won simply asked Tae-im if she was cold, but it took a turn for the worse when Tae-im started swearing at Ye-won. Whoever saw the video thought Tae-im was acting like a crazy person. She explained to the staff that the reason she got upset was because Ye-won was speaking to her without using honorifics. That didn't fly with netizens though. Tae-im was being slandered left and right for her outburst, so she issued an apology to do some damage control. She admitted that it bothered her that Ye-won spoke to her informally, but that her outburst was in no way proportional. Tae-im's agency revealed she was going through a rough patch at the time of filming as she was dealing with severe insomnia. This might have fueled her emotions, causing her to react so inappropriately. The consequences of this scandal were incredibly severe for both parties. Tae-im received so much backlash, she practically dropped out of all her dramas. A few years later, she retired from the entertainment industry completely. Before she vanished without a trace, she revealed that she thought her career was over due to her conflict with Ye-won. She shared, "I thought I would have to quit acting because no matter what drama or what character I would take on, that image would take over the role. So at the time, I decided to quit school." She somewhat recovered from the controversy though, but then she made the sudden decision to leave the industry altogether. Ye-won hasn't been doing that great either as the scandal still haunts her to this day. In an interview this year, Ye-won spoke up about the incident and revealed she's become really self-conscious because of it. She keeps wondering if she's doing something wrong, if someone is even remotely upset with her. In another interview, she burst out in tears while opening up about her fear of not getting cast anymore as a result of the altercation. Luckily, she managed to pick up her career again. Judging from the fact the incident still bothers her, it's safe to say she and Tae-im have not been on good terms ever since it happened. The dispute Ju Kyul-kyung and Zhao Liang had about their screen time in this Legend of Fae is yet another example that not everyone always likes their colleagues. All the drama began when it was rumored that Kyul-kyung was having a terrible attitude behind the scenes. It's said that she was being extremely demanding, even requesting the script to be changed changed so that she'd have more screen time. It was rumored that as a result, Laing's lines had to be cut short, even though she was the main lead of the drama. Although Lang never directly attacked Go-eun, she was a bit shady online. In the past, she had spoken up about not liking the final version of the script as much in comparison to the previous version. She expressed her feelings by posting a picture of 2 hamburgers on her Weibo account. One looked delicious, while the other didn't look appetizing at all. She put the word renewed right next to the gross hamburger, which made fans believe that she was referring to the script. They theorized that she was fed up with Go-eun and her constant interference, and that this was shade towards the production team for listening to her demands. Whether the two actually had a fight over this is something only they know for sure. Speaking of rumored feuds, for a while now, it's been whispered around that Song Joong-ki and Yoo Ah-in are no longer friends. The two met on the set of Sung Kyung-kwan Scandal back in 2010 and bonded really well. They became really close very quickly, and when it was Jung-ki's time to leave for his mandatory military service, Ah-in made sure to send him a heartwarming video message as a parting gift. The minute Jung-ki was discharged from his service, Ah-in was one of the first people to visit him, proving that their bond was unbreakable. The two hung out in Ah-in's art studio, and Jung-ki even bought 2 of his paintings. Ah-in wasn't only good friends with Jung-ki though, because he's also really close to his now ex-wife, Song Hye-kyo, who happened to work under the same label as him. Ah-in played matchmaker between her and Jung-ki, allowing them to hang out freely by volunteering to be a third wheel. That way, they'd be in public together without being criticized by the media. The 3 of them had an amazing friendship, but that was all thrown away when Jung-ki decided to divorce Hye-kyo back in 2019. Since he was the one to file for divorce, netizens believed Hye-kyo had done something terrible to upset him. As a result, she received an insane amount of hate from the public. Everyone was convinced that Ah-in's friendship with Hye-kyo would be over, and that he would stick besides Jung-ki. But surprisingly, the opposite happened. When Hye-kyo returned to the small screen with a role in Now We Are Breaking Up after a long hiatus, Ah-in was one of the first people to cheer her on. This had fans wondering whether he and Jung-ki were still on speaking terms. Although they haven't had a public feud, they haven't been spotted together since the divorce either. Considering they used to be together all the time, this might be an indication that they had a falling out. Ah-in is currently under investigation for the use of illegal substances, and while Hye-kyo is known to be supporting him, no one has heard anything about Jung-ki's involvement. It seems like Ah-in cut ties with him after the divorce with Song Hye-kyo. Last up is probably the most famous case of 2 actors who couldn't stand to be around each other on set. That's right, we're talking about Kim Jung-hyun and Girls' Generation's So-hyun, who had an incredibly hard time being on set together. This scandal went down when they were filming the drama Time back in 2018, and it was all thanks to Jung-hyun's weird attitude. He completely destroyed his reputation by refusing to film any skinship scenes with So-hyun, even though they were supposed to play each other's love interests. The staff revealed that it was very hard to film any scenes because Jung-hyun refused to even look her in the eyes. Elaborating on just how difficult it was to shoot any scene with him, a staff member wrote, "If it didn't go his way, he would run away and make dry heaves, retching." In the end, 13 skinship scenes were missing from the drama, as Jung-hyun demanded the script to be rewritten. At the time, the writer was incredibly ill and about to be hospitalized, but he still had to rewrite the script only for Jung-hyun to leave the drama altogether in the end. Sometime later, it was revealed that Jung-hyun was ordered to act strangely by his ex-girlfriend So Ye-ji, who tried to control his every step. Despite this, So-hyun definitely didn't appreciate his weird attitude, and it came down as one of the most famous feuds in K-drama history. And the drama isn't limited to mainstream series or movies. Even BL dramas have sparked shocking feuds off camera.
The BL community isn't exactly all rainbows and sunshine. While the actors might play each other's lovers on screen, it turns out quite a few of them have serious beef in real life. When you think of BL actors that aren't very fond of each other, Mike Chinnarat and Top Tap Jirakit are probably the first 2 actors that come to mind. The 2 have appeared in quite a few series together, but they really rose in popularity after playing supporting roles in the drama together. It's said that they were friendly with each other when they were filming the drama, but things took a turn for the worse shortly after the drama stopped airing. After they wrapped up filming, the cast held a few fan meets to interact more with their audience. Some fans pointed out that Mike and Top Tap seemed pretty distant at this event, and that they had a slightly cold attitude towards each other in general. This wasn't the biggest issue though, because we all have bad days sometimes. What really shocked fans was when Mike and Top Tap had a public falling out. The public feud in question had everything to do with the fact fact that they unfollowed each other on social media. This happened sometime after they appeared in Tonhan Chonlati together, so fans were confused. Unfollowing your co-star is a pretty big deal, since it kinda indicates you have some kind of beef with them. To make some sense of it all, viewers came up with theories, but of course those have to be taken with a grain of salt. It's said that right before Mike and Top Tap unfollowed each other, they attended a certain TikTok event together. Some people speculated that they could have had some sort of fight there, but that seemed very unlikely. The most popular theory is that Mike allegedly got into a relationship, and him having a girlfriend put a strain on his friendship with Top Tap. It's been rumored for a while now that Mike is seeing Thai actress Gaji. Although they haven't confirmed anything, their fans believe there's really something there. So when Mike unfollowed Top Tap, they assumed Gaji had something to do with this. Perhaps Top Tap didn't like her, or they had a difference of opinion which resulted in Mike unfollowing him. Others argued that she might have been jealous of people shipping them together, so she asked Mike to unfollow him to put an end to the ship. No one knows what actually happened between them though. When Mike shared the trailer for their series Mama Go-Go, he tagged the entire cast except for Top Tap. This stirred up even more drama as fans were convinced that Mike blocked him, since you can't tag people you have blocked. During one of his Twitch streams, Top Tap finally spoke up about the issue, but it didn't give fans any closure. He explained that he didn't want to blame anyone for what happened between them because he didn't want the issue to get bigger than it already was. He shared that even if Mike ever decides to speak up about it, he'll choose to stay silent because in his opinion that's the best way to handle the situation. He told fans that he'd love to answer their questions, but he explained that a difficult situation like this doesn't really have a solid answer. He then urged them to refrain from asking more questions about the situation. Judging from this, it seems like they really did have a big issue, but luckily they were professional enough to ignore it whenever they were in public together. Whatever happened to them is one big mystery, but fans still hold hope that they'll reconcile in the future. In 2022, they starred together in Sky in Your Heart, and it seems like they can be civil with one another. However, their relationship is strictly professional, and it doesn't look like they ever acknowledge each other much. Even when filming, they mind their own business, and maybe that's for the better. Next up are Om Pawat and Nanon Korapat, who also seriously concerned fans with their hostile attitudes towards each other. To say that these two had a falling out is a bit of an understatement because the entire community could tell they stopped enjoying each other's presence. Om and Nanon are best known for their roles in the drama Bad Buddy, which was a rom-com released back in October of 2021. Fans were blown away by the amazing chemistry the couple had on screen, and it turns out that it wasn't hard for them to get along on set because they happened to be friends in real life. It's said that Om actually declined the role at first because he had played in tons of BL dramas already, so he wanted to branch out a little by doing something different. However, when he heard his friend Nanon was going to be part of the cast, he decided to give it a shot anyway. The drama became a hit, and both Om and Nanon were in incredibly high demand in the BL community. They were seen together at tons of promotional events and even got their own show. Of course, fans were shipping them like crazy, and in good old BL fashion, the two had to provide fan service. Their public appearances made fans believe they were extremely close in real life as well. So what exactly caused them to grow tired of each other? Well, it turns out that even the best of friends can grow apart, especially those who are under public pressure. Bad Buddy took the BL community by storm, so naturally Om and Nanon had an exhausting promotional schedule. They constantly had to show up at events, hold meetings, and go to award ceremonies, and this might have taken a bit of a toll on them. Things started to get weird at the 2022 Maya Entertainment Awards. During this ceremony, Bad Buddy won the Series of the Year award, so Om and Nanon attended a small gathering to celebrate the award with their fans. However, they made somewhat of a scene that night, and it had everyone confused. During the event, Om looked visibly angry as if someone upset him. When Nanon went over to check up on him, it looked like Om's mood got even worse. No one could tell what they were saying to one another, but it's safe to say the tension was so thick you could cut through it. Later that night, they had to be escorted separately because of Om's hostile attitude towards him. This public feud had people believing they really despised each other in real life, and in hindsight, there was a little truth to that. Shortly after the event, Oma apologized for the mishap and explained that he was just feeling too much pressure. He admitted that he was getting a bit sick of being with Nanon nearly 24/7, especially since they have very opposite personalities in real life. Sources close to them revealed that they bickered quite a lot in their day-to-day life because they were just so different. After this incident, they weren't seen together anymore as often. Fans noticed that at the few events they were spotted together, they seemed very awkward and tense. Some argue that Nanon seemed like he didn't want to be in Om's presence whatsoever. This this might have something to do with Ohm's recent mistreatment scandal. Earlier this year, he was accused of having tormented his peers in his school days. Fans believe that due to this controversy, Nanon wants to keep his distance. Whether they fully hate each other is up to debate, but they definitely aren't as close as they used to be. Famous BL actors Mew Supasit and Gulf Kanawut are also suspected to have had a serious falling out because they're rarely seen together anymore. They had fans wrapped around their fingers after appearing together in Tharntype, the series, back in 2020. Their chemistry was so great, they even had an easy time selling their relationship outside of the show. For a long time, fans were questioning whether they were actually seeing each other in real life as well because they just seemed a little too close to just be friends. The Thai media started treating them as a couple, even though they had never directly stated that they were dating. In fact, Mew once mentioned that their relationship was actually platonic, which the public found a bit strange considering how affectionate they used to be towards each other. Things started to change between them after their show ended, and fans believe they had some sort of fight that no one knows much about. They never had a very obvious public feud, so it's just a big guessing game at this point. Another popular theory is that they weren't actually that fond of each other from the beginning, but they had to act that way to sell their ship to the public and convince fans to stay interested in them. Providing fan service is kind of part of the job when you're a BL actor, and most of them take it very seriously. Some people argue that the constant flirting and all the affection they showed each was just part of a business arrangement to promote their show. Once their show ended in 2020, none of that was necessary anymore. They had to step away from the Mew Gulf brand they created, so they stopped making public appearances together. It's also said that they want to go separate ways career-wise, which is why they aren't as close anymore. Mew wanted to pursue a career in singing and producing, while Gulf wanted to keep acting, so fans assumed their different ambitions caused them to grow apart. From 2021 onwards, they've still had some endorsements and appearances together, but they stopped being overly affectionate with each other. They also no longer flirt on Instagram like they used to, proving that whatever was going on between them has now come to an end. What's your take on these feuds? Let us know in the comments.
But one pairing in particular drew more attention than anyone expected. Chinese actors Wang Yibo and Zhan used to be great friends, but a series of controversies involving their respective fandoms has created a rift between the two, and many are debating whether their relationship can ever recover. Both Yibo and Zhan emerged as major stars in the Chinese entertainment world in the late 2010s after starting their careers as idols. Yibo is known to K-pop fans as a member of idol group Eunuch, while Zhan debuted as a member of the Chinese boy band X9, and they both accumulated a large following. After moving to acting, they quickly achieved a lot of success, and they starred as the leads of the 2019 Chinese drama The Untamed. This show was a commercial hit, with viewers and critics praising everything about the series, from the plot and the character development to the historical setting and elaborate clothing. One of the reasons why this show quickly became popular is that it's based on a BL web novel, which depicts an explicit romance between the leads, and fans couldn't wait to see how this aspect would be portrayed in the drama adaptation. However, due to China's ban on LGBTQ portrayal in films and dramas, nothing explicit was ever shown. This means that, unlike the original novel, the drama adaptation had no kisses or other kinds of explicit physical contact between the leads, and their relationship was basically turned into an adorable bromance that only suggests that there might be something more. For this reason, fans who wanted to see a closer interaction between Zhan and Yibo decided to take matters into their own hands, and countless fan fictions depicting an explicit romance between their characters in The Untamed started to flood online platforms. At the same time, many netizens became obsessed with Yibo and Zhan, and they started to analyze every single little interaction between them, hoping to find clues that they were developing a real-life romance. While promoting The Untamed, Yibo and Zhan often appeared together and interacted closely, showing a great chemistry and what seemed to be at the very least a great friendship. However, their interactions sparked a lot of speculation among netizens who wanted to see them as a couple. This led to some tension between fandoms, with solo stans of each actor arguing that shipping them together could be harmful because of China's censorship laws. Meanwhile, Zhan and Yibo kept appearing together, most notably accepting an award at the Weibo TV Series Awards Awards in January 2020. Fans loved to see this moment, but no one could have imagined that this would be the last time they interacted publicly. With fans becoming increasingly obsessed with the idea of a romance between the two, fan fictions depicting them as a couple became more and more popular. While many fans loved to read these stories, more conservative netizens became increasingly upset, complaining about the explicit LGBTQ elements of these fan fictions. The most controversial of these stories was a novel called Falling, which was posted by a netizen on the fan fiction website Archive of Our Own, or AO3, starting on January 30th, 2020. On February 24th, links to chapters 12 and 13 of Falling were shared on Chinese social media Weibo, and they quickly went viral. Over the following days, many fans of Zhan became upset about this story, arguing that the apparent inclusion of a romance between underage characters. Many took these elements as an insult towards Zhan and started denouncing the controversial content of Falling. On February 27th, 2020, fans of Zhan decided to mass report the fan fiction to Chinese authorities, and this became known as the 227 incident. As a consequence of this incident, access to AO3 was completely blocked in mainland China on February 29th. This ban had a major impact on many Chinese fandoms, as countless netizens thought of AO3 as a rare, safe space that was, until then, basically untouched by Chinese censorship laws. So many were very upset and blamed the incident on Zhan and his fans. Zhan's agency immediately apologized for the controversy and urged fans to stop and be rational. Meanwhile, many began arguing that Zhan's image as a sweetheart was being destroyed, and he was now seen by people who didn't know him as a celebrity with a crazy fandom that took down an entire platform. The agency's apology didn't calm down netizens, and many started to target Zhan and his fans. At the same time, netizens also unearthed some controversial comments made by Zhan, trying to harm his image. Things got much worse on March 17th when Chinese AO3 users announced a boycott against all the brands that worked with Zhan, and went even further by actively promoting their competitors and flooding the customer service lines of these brands with requests to end their collaboration with Zhan. Netizens also targeted the projects Zhan worked on, leaving awful reviews on all of his shows. Millions of netizens joined the boycott, and the strength and wide scope of this action led to a lot of online discussion. The entire Chinese entertainment industry started to suffer from the scandal, and an industry insider commented that this incident was a prime example of toxic fandom culture in China, adding that the boycott was happening despite the fact that neither the brand nor Zhan had done anything wrong. Another industry insider even argued that this incident was a wake-up call for all brands in China who are too reliant on idols and actors for promotion, adding that a sudden fan-generated crisis could bring long-term harm to brands. Despite this, the controversy only grew bigger, and Zhan had to disappear from social media for some time. While he wasn't directly involved in the incident, Yibo had to lay low for a while too, and it's very likely that he was pressured into avoiding any interaction with Zhan. However, Yibo was still dragged into the controversy, with fans of Zhan accusing Yibo's fandom of fueling the smear campaign against Zhan. This led to an increasingly heated three-sided conflict between Zhan's fandom, Yibo's fandom, and those who were shipping them together. At the same time, it looked like Zhan's career was about to collapse. Brands started to withdraw their endorsements, his dramas were being postponed, and he was being edited out of TV shows. Despite this, he still retained a large fan base, and he responded to the controversy on April 20th by releasing his new song, Spotlight, which broke every record to become the fastest-selling digital single of all time in China. After weeks of silence, Zhan made his first public appearance since the 227 incident with an interview posted on May 6, 2020, apologizing for his controversial past remarks and then discussing the 227 incident. He said that he was thankful to see that he had a large and passionate fandom, but added that his fans shouldn't do anything extreme or anything that could harm others. However, he refused any responsibility for the 227 incident, saying that he couldn't control what his fans wanted to do. Once again, these statements did little to stop the controversy, and on May 20th, Zhan decided to file a criminal complaint against netizens who harassed him online, accusing them of defamation, spreading false information, and causing mental anguish to both the actor and his fans. Weibo also had to intervene, and in July, the platform banned several pages linked with the 227 incident, arguing that they were promoting hatred and launching cyber attacks on state agencies and media outlets. Soon afterwards, Zhan's agency announced that they were collaborating with Weibo to remove controversial accounts and admitted that they should have done more to control the fandom. A few months later, Zhan won his defamation case, and one of the leaders of the movement against him was ordered to pay over $30,000 in damages. With the controversy finally calming down, both Zhan and Yibo slowly began resuming their activities, and they both returned to acting in dramas. However, they kept their distance from each other and had no interaction at all. At this point, netizens began arguing whether there was some real-life tension between the two, or if they were just avoiding each other for fear of sparking another wave of controversy. Some have argued that Zhan actually began distancing himself from Yibo even before the 227 incident because of toxic solo fans. In fact, it seems like many Yibo fans have always disliked Zhan and vice versa, and the 227 incident was just the last straw. This reciprocal hatred sometimes explodes again, and there have been various reports of altercations between the two fandoms over the years, also involving those who still ship the two together. One of the most recent incidents happened in August 2024, when during a concert, some fans started to chant that Yibo and Zhan are a real couple. In response, Yibo fans retaliated with the chant, "Zhan is," and this led to a fight between the two sides. Various fans ended up being injured, and the police had to intervene to stop the fight. Netizens are now divided between those who think that the altercation between fandoms has led to a real rift between Yibo and Zhan, and those who instead believe that they've been just forced to avoid each other because of the toxic behavior of their fans. Instead, some still believe that they're an actual couple who have to hide their real feelings because of the controversy and China's censorship laws. Those who ship them together even went as far as speculating that they're just waiting for their contracts to expire in 2026 before going public with their relationship. But this theory seems to be just wishful thinking. While it's impossible to know their real, behind-the-scenes relationship at this point, most netizens believe that they're just avoiding each other as a PR strategy, as a public interaction between them might reignite the scandal. Since both their careers are going quite well at the moment, both of them are probably thinking that appearing together right now might do more harm than good, and it's better to keep some distance. Yet, conflict in the industry doesn't stop there. Another top actor rightfully faced harsh words from his own colleagues. As serious accusations swirl around Kim Soo-hyun, actors across the industry have started pulling away, some quietly, others not so much. From social media digs to unfollows, here's who's made their feelings known. Long before the recent claims against Soo-hyun made headlines, some fans believe actor Choi Woo-shik may have already had doubts about him. After Sae-ron's aunt spoke out, an old interview of Woo-shik from a 2014 episode of Radio Star resurfaced and sparked new conversations. At the time, Woo-shik was asked about working with Soo-hyun on the film Secretly Greatly. Instead of praise, he casually mentioned hearing a lot of negative things about Soo-hyun's reputation. The host joked about a possible rivalry and brushed off his comment, saying Soo-hyun was known for being friendly, just selective about who he let close. Because Soo-hyun was a huge name back then, Woo-shik got some heat for what he said. But now, people are looking at that clip differently. Since Woo-shik never explained if he was joking, some are wondering if the industry knew more about Soo-hyun than they let on. Commenters wrote, "If you watch the full video, Choi Woo-shik keeps stuttering, but never denies it as a joke or lie, and this is as good as solid evidence." Woo-shik never cleared up what he meant back then, but for a lot of people, it was enough to believe the two weren't close, and maybe hadn't been for a long time. After Sae-ron's aunt broke her silence, one of the earliest public reactions came from actress Lee-el, known for My Liberation Notes and Mr. Plankton. She made a post on social media on March 17th writing, "A 9-year-old is just a child pushed into the industry by their parents, and a 15-year-old is suddenly treated as if they know everything and are labeled a gold digger." She never said any names, but it was pretty clear who she was talking about. Sae-ron had been acting since she was 9 and had allegedly started dating Soo-hyun when she was just 15 while he was 27. Lee-el's post struck a chord, and many praised her for backing Sae-ron's family, especially since they were up against one of the industry's biggest stars. Comments from them said, "Wow, it's my first time seeing a celebrity speak up in this time. I'm seriously thankful." And Lee-el always speaks out about issues. Her courage is too cool. Additionally, Sol Ina, best known for Business Proposal and Twinkling Watermelon, didn't say anything outright. but her actions spoke volumes. After leaving OUI Entertainment, she joined gold medalist in 2022, which made many think she'd stay quiet to protect her spot. But once the scandal broke, she quickly unfollowed Hyun, the agency, and everyone else on Instagram, as well as unliking his picture. It might seem minor to some, but given the timing and her connection to the company, people saw it as her way of stepping back. While others close to Hyun stayed silent or only reacted after public pressure, Ina's move came fast and unprompted. Her actions spoke volumes, making her seem much bolder than the other men in the industry. Many understood why she didn't openly call him out, especially since she was still under contract with gold medalist. Not to mention, breaking a contract early could come with hefty penalties, which not every actor can afford. Plus, it's probably not easy for gold medalists to let anyone go right now, considering the negative attention it could bring. So it's understandable why Ina is still under the company, unable to make any stronger statements beside hitting the unfollow button. Now let's talk about a TikTok video which recently went viral after a former trainee actor shared some stories he claimed to have heard from his acting teacher at Chungang University, where Kim Soo-hyun studied. In the clip, the user alleged that Soo-hyun was known for constantly swearing, to the point where it was hard for him to speak in full sentences without using profanity. He also mentioned that Soo-hyun often used harsh language aimed at people's families, which is especially offensive in Korean culture. The video didn't stop there. The TikToker also claimed that Soo-hyun and actress Jeon Ji-hyun had a rocky relationship behind the scenes. Though they starred together in both My Love from the Star and The Thieves, the two reportedly didn't get along. According to the post, they argued over things like seniority, status, and even something as small as who stood where during an event. While they looked friendly on camera, the tension behind the scenes painted a different picture. Jeon Ji-hyun hasn't spoken publicly about Soo-hyun in quite some time, and if what the video claims is true, it might explain the silence. Surprisingly, actress So Ye-ji also spoke out. She and Soo-hyun had starred together in the hit drama It's Okay to Not Be Okay, and when Saeron posted a picture of herself with Soo-hyun last March, rumors about Ye-ji and Soo-hyun being involved resurfaced. At the time, entertainment reporter Kim Yong-ho suggested that after Ye-ji's breakup with Kim Jong-yeon, she began dating Soo-hyun once they worked together on the drama. However, that relationship was short-lived, and Ye-ji was soon rumored to be dating Soo-hyun's cousin Lee Sarang, who also directed the movie Real. Kim Yong-ho later claimed that Soo-hyun and Saeron started dating after that, but these rumors were never confirmed. Other stories about Soo-hyun and Ye-ji began to surface as well, especially after the accusations against Soo-hyun surfaced. A YouTube account claiming to be from a former gold medalist employee alleged that Ye-ji had been used by Soo-hyun and his management to cover up their mistakes. The anonymous user shared that they had worked at gold medalist 4 years ago and was fired after leaking information about Ye-ji to Dispatch and OSN. However, according to the user, the reporters didn't publish the details because Lee Sarang, Soo-hyun's cousin and the company's founder, told them not to, fearing it would harm the company's reputation. The user went on to write, "What I want to say is that actor Kim Soo-hyun and his cousin Lee Sarang had a lot of issues, and actress Seo Ye-ji was used as a shield. Some of the negative claims about her actually came from within the management." According to the user, gold medalist allegedly gave Dispatch false information about Ye-ji during her scandal to cover up their mistakes, even paying people to spread rumors about her. Among the claims were accusations that Ye-ji had been rude to staff and mistreated classmates during her school years. The user suggested that Lee Sarang had orchestrated the whole thing, directing reporters to publish these articles. Addressing the question of why Ye-ji would renew her contract with the company, the user explained that Ye-ji had trusted Soo-hyun but was ultimately taken advantage of by the management, who made huge profits off her. The user also brought up Jung-hyun, who had previously mentioned he planned to sue his old agency for spreading false rumors about Ye-ji, but gold medalist never made that public. They also wrote, "Furthermore, even when her second K-drama, Eve, aired, the management refused to promote it actively. The commenter claimed they knew even more than what they shared, and hinted that Saeron might have known too. They suggested Saeron's parents should look through her diary to understand what happened with Soo-hyun and the true nature of their relationship." However, the user reassured them not to worry, believing that gold medalists would eventually expose themselves sooner than later. These claims were later echoed by the Garosero Institute, which added to the growing suspicion that there might be some truth to them. As expected, gold medalists denied the claims, saying that the manager who had been in charge of Ye-ji at the time had resigned and was so confused by by the allegations that they contacted the company. Despite the denial, one detail in the comment by the alleged former employee stood out: the mention of Saeron's diary, which had some parts shared with the public, revealing information about her connection with Hyun. The claims also gained some credibility after it was revealed that a netizen who had spread false rumors and defamed Yeji through malicious comments turned out to be a former staff member of hers. It's unknown whether the staff member was from gold medalist or not, but looking at the claims made by the alleged former employee, it wouldn't be too far-fetched to think that that was the case. Not to mention, some people believe Hyun has a pattern of using his female co-stars as shields when things go south, so if these rumors are real, they might just back that up. Despite all the speculations, no one expected Yeji to respond directly, yet she did. On March 13th, she posted on her official fancafe about an exchange she had on Instagram. She had replied to a hateful comment about her and Hyun, which had accused her of cheating with him and referenced TikTok rumors. Frustrated, she responded with, "I wish people would please stop," but later deleted her response. Either way, her response got a lot of attention, so she explained herself through the fancafe post. Addressing her fans, she stated that the whole situation had been overwhelming and she was tired of defending herself. Yeji assured her fans that she had tried to hold back but couldn't ignore the comment. She flatly denied any relationship with Hyun or Lee Sarang, saying, "I am in no way affiliated with him and his cousin. I don't even know why I have to explain myself, but I'm just extra frustrated tonight." After Saeron's passing, Yeji had posted on Instagram and even attended the funeral, making her public distancing from Hyun a clear message about her stance on the matter. And when reputations turn sour, some actors find themselves completely avoided in the industry. The glitz and glamour of the K-drama world often overshadow the realities behind the scenes. While fans are captivated by their favorite actors, industry insiders tend to avoid working with some big stars due to their rude and reckless behavior. A 2022 survey shed light on the industry's darker side, ranking some A-list celebrities based on their reputation among staff. Topping the list, surprisingly, was the often praised Ma Dong-seok, mainly known for his tough guy roles in tons of movies. Accusations of unprofessionalism, including frequent no-shows at promotional events, tarnished his image once and for all. His absence from important events for films like The Roundup and Men of Plastic has been particularly criticized by the media. While it's understandable to miss the occasional interview, repeatedly backing out from these activities places an unfair burden on the rest of the cast and crew, who are left to shoulder the promotional responsibilities alone. Commenting on Dong-seok's lack of effort, a reporter wrote, "Ma Dong-seok wants his movies to do well but doesn't want to promote them with interviews. He needs to put in the effort if he wants the best for his work." Insiders revealed that he often cites personal reasons to justify the cancellations, never offering any transparency into what's going on in his private life. Giving their 2 cents on Dong-seok's attitude, another journalist said that is not the proper attitude of a lead actor who has a responsibility to his production team. Of course, all of this should be taken with a grain of salt, but considering several industry officials have reported the same issue, there might be some truth to it. Similarly, Kim Tae-ri faced a lot of backlash for her seemingly rude behavior on set. Over the years, Tae-ri managed to work her way up and create a well-established image as a talented and versatile actress. However, behind the scenes, she's allegedly a completely different person. In the same survey ranking the rudest celebrities, she ranked in second position, meaning her bad attitude was a big point of discussion among reporters. The majority of industry insiders are pretty fed up with her, as she often disregards interviews and acts immaturely on set. Even more shocking is that one report shared she suffers from a serious superiority complex, no matter who she's addressing or in what environment she's working. Elaborating on this person wrote, "She acts like a free-spirited person, but it's just an excuse to not pay attention and act unprofessional." It doesn't end there though, because at some point there were also rumors going around that Tae-ri trash-talked one of the directors she worked with. Although this was never confirmed, it seems like her bad attitude even forms a problem when filming. Next up is Nam Joo-hyuk, who can kiss any prestigious roles goodbye, as his school mistreatment controversy practically ended his career. He was once one of the most beloved actors in the Korean entertainment industry, but that all came to an end in 2022. Word came out that he had mistreated his peers in the past, and although no one knew for sure if this was true, the allegations were serious enough to damage his career. As this wasn't already catastrophic enough, Joo-hyuk was then named to be one of the hardest actors to work with. A prime example of these issues arose during the promotional campaign for his film film Remember. He was forced to withdraw from numerous events due to his involvement in an underage drinking scandal. This not only damaged his personal reputation, but also created serious challenges for the film's overall promotion. Reporters and industry insiders alike have expressed frustration with Joo Hyuk's behavior, suggesting that he's too reckless to ever become a great success. Moving on, let's talk about Park Joon-geum's unexpected bad behavior on set. As a veteran actress, you wouldn't expect her to have gotten into a lot of trouble on set, but in reality, she has a less than perfect past. During a variety show, fellow actor Lee Hyun revealed that Joon-geum had a difficult reputation during her early career. Known for being a very outspoken person, she reportedly often clashed with producers and directors. One particular time, this even led to a physical confrontation. Giving the public detailed insight into her past actions, he said she'd talk back to the producers if they spoke down to her or asked her to pour them a drink. At one time, she slapped a producer who insisted that she pour him a drink. Believe it or not, this incident led to a 6-month industry blacklist, highlighting an extremely turbulent start to her career. It's debatable whether that producer deserved it or not, since she could have just been standing up for herself. However, it's pretty clear that after this, not many industry officials wanted to work with her. Joo Kyo-kyung is definitely also someone who deserves to be on this list, as she caused quite a lot of trouble on the set of Legend of Fae. Landing a role in this drama was one of the biggest moments of her career, but this moment of shine was quickly ruined when allegations surfaced that Kyo-kyung was excessively difficult to work with, making numerous demands, including script changes to increase her screen time. Allegedly, her desire for more screen time led to a reduction in lines for the lead actress Zhao Liang. This claim gained traction when Liang subtly expressed dissatisfaction with the script on Weibo, using a food analogy to shade her co-star. Her approach was to post a picture of 2 hamburgers with one looking good and the other being less appetizing. The word delicious was placed right next to the delicious burger, while renewed was put next to the less ideal one. Fans immediately interpreted this criticism of the script changes, suggesting that Kyo-kyung's influence had negatively impacted the storyline. When talking about unreliable actors, Lee Da-hae is at the top of the list. She already caused quite a stir with her sudden changes in appearance, but things really got out of hand when she started dropping dramas left and right without notifying anyone beforehand. This first happened when she was filming for the drama East of Eden. The project was in full production when one day Da-hae decided to no longer show up to the set without warning anyone. Of course, the public wanted to know why she made such a drastic decision. She gave a very vague explanation, stating that she had to drop the film because she couldn't connect well enough with her character. At this point in time, a lot of the filming had already happened, so the production team had to find a way to write her out of the script, which undoubtedly took a lot of effort. A few years later, something similar happened because Da-hae suddenly left the set of Lemon. Rumor has it that she quit her role in the nearly completed film after collecting her 150 million won salary, causing significant problems for the production team. Despite these events occurring years ago, production companies remain hesitant to cast her. Moving on, it would be a crime not to include Kim Jong-hyun on this list, as he stirred quite the controversy back in 2018. The once promising career of Jong-hyun took a dramatic turn when the public found out about his awful behavior during the filming of the drama Time. Here, he played the male lead alongside Girls' Generation's So-hyun, who was his love interest. Despite the fact that there was no previous drama between the two, Jong-hyun acted really strangely towards her on set. Reports stated that Jong-hyun refused to film most of his skinship scenes with her, making things extremely hard for the production team. It got to a point where he would even refuse to look her in the eyes, and whenever they did get him to film something, he would throw a tantrum when things didn't go his way. Retelling this experience, a staff member said if it didn't go his way, he would run away and make dry heaves, retching. It gets even crazier because the writer, who at the time was about to be hospitalized, had to rewrite the script in order to meet some of Jong-hyun's extreme wishes. In the end, it turned out that this whole situation wasn't entirely Jong-hyun's fault, as Dispatch exposed it had everything to with So Ye-ji, his girlfriend at the time. She controlled his every move on set, and her jealousy didn't allow him to film anything involving physical contact with another woman. Now that we're on the topic of Ye-ji, she's also not exactly a joy to be around. Throughout her career, she faced a lot of problematic allegations, including accusations of staff mistreatment. Everything went downhill for Ye-ji when an alleged former employee came forward with disturbing allegations of mistreatment on the work floor. The anonymous netizen described a very toxic work environment where Ye-ji would do anything to instill fear in her employees. This person explained that at the time they were trying their best to gather evidence of this horrible behavior, but collecting proof was nearly impossible because Yeji allegedly made sure to check their phones. As a result of her bad attitude, the employees were always on edge and had to watch Yeji's every move in order not to upset her. Sharing more details, the netizen wrote, "Whenever she said she was in a bad mood, she never ate anything, and so we were unable to eat." It got to a point where Yeji would allegedly threaten the people who worked for her, saying things such as, "This industry is small. Be careful with what you say or I will make it hard for you guys to get jobs." Given all the controversies surrounding Yeji, it's highly unlikely she'll be offered new roles in the near future. Another case is that of Kim Min-hee, who was once a rising star in the Korean entertainment industry, but lost it all due to a highly publicized and controversial relationship. For years now, she's been involved with director Hong Sang-soo, who's 22 years her senior. That's not all though, because when the two got together, he was a married man with a family. This happened around 2015 when Min-hee starred in the film Right Now, Wrong Then, which ironically enough was centered around infidelity. The rumors that she was having an affair with the director turned out to be true, and Min-hee's career was turned upside down in a matter of hours. To make matters worse for her, Sang-soo made their relationship public during a press event in 2017. Everyone knew he was still married to his wife, who knew about the affair, but allegedly refused to leave her husband for the sake of their family. Sang-soo didn't share that sentiment because in 2018 he decided to file for divorce. The court sternly denied his request as the judge didn't believe it was fair to grant him this wish. He stated that Sang-soo didn't do enough to make amends with his wife and daughter for hurting them so deeply. Ever since they went public with their relationship, Min-hee only ever starred in Sang-soo's films. The public completely turned against her, and the consequences were severe. Her once glowing reputation was tarnished by accusations of being a homewrecker, leading to a significant decline in popularity. The scandal resulted in the termination of her agency contract, the loss of many endorsement deals, and even legal action from a cosmetics brand claiming damage to their reputation. The two are still together, and to this day, Sang-soo is married to another woman. Last up is Park Yoo-chun, whose career has been a roller coaster to say the least. Things started going downhill for Yoo-chun in 2016 and 2017 when he was accused of having harassed several women on a physical level. The police were never able to prove that anything happened forcefully, so the charges were dropped. Although he got let off the hook easily in this case, he found himself in trouble again 2 years later. He faced a serious legal crisis when he was arrested for using and possessing illegal substances. He attracted even more trouble by altering his appearance since the police suspected him of tampering with evidence. After initially denying the allegations, Yoo-chun eventually confessed to the charges and was sentenced to 10 months in prison. The scandal led to the termination of his contract with CJess Entertainment and his subsequent announcement of retirement from the entertainment industry. The public was convinced they'd never see him again. Never say never though, because in 2020 he decided to make a comeback. This wasn't without issues because he was embroiled in controversy yet again. This time around, he was having a legal battle with a company that acquired the right to manage him from his former agency. Things weren't going smoothly whatsoever, and this company decided to impose a broadcasting ban on Yoo-chun, prohibiting him from appearing on television. His entertainment activities came to a halt, and as the cherry on top, the National Tax Service of Korea announced he evaded a sum of $300,000, tarnishing his reputation even further. Even though he's trying to make a comeback, it doesn't look like there's any room for that to succeed. But it's not just actors, actresses have also spoken out, revealing disturbing truths about those they worked with.
While cases of influential people being disgusting to women are almost always hidden, there are some actresses who have spoken out against the disturbing actions of other men in the industry. Here are the 5 Korean actresses who have publicly exposed creeps who hurt them. Hae-jin. Actress Hae-jin revealed a very shocking truth on why she suddenly decided to retire, and her confession uncovered a dark truth about the industry. If you recognize EJ, it's because she's been in numerous projects such as Sharp One and Single Daddy in Love, but she's mostly known for her role in Goeun, which is the spin-off series from the K-drama Princess Hours. Her career was off to a great start, and she was probably going to get even bigger and more successful with every role, but she suddenly just disappeared. No explanation, no reason, simply nothing. She unofficially announced her retirement from acting in 2016 by going on hiatus, and as soon as her contract with YG Entertainment expired, she decided to end her activities completely. Her hiatus came as a shock to
everyone, and what was even more surprising was that nobody knew why she did it. Well, in 2021, she finally opened up about the reason, and it was disturbing. In September of 2021, she appeared on a YouTube video with Wei. The video was the first time in a while that EJ appeared on screen. She starts by saying that she doesn't know if it's okay for the story to be aired on broadcast since it involved a married man, but since the situation was so unfair she literally had to retire, she felt the need to share it with everyone. EJ explained, "In one drama, that person and I were partners. He was nice to me at first, but one day he suddenly asked, 'Why don't you contact me on your days off?' But we met almost every day because of the filming." She went on, "But that was when I was very innocent, so I answered, 'But we're meeting every day and we work 20 hours a day, so we don't have time to contact each other.'" EJ said that this is when the trouble really started. She said, "But it started from then on. He would call me, 'Hey, you bitch,' at the film set every day." Wei was understandably shocked and asked EJ if the said actor was still working, and EJ said that not only is he still booking roles, but his career is doing very well. EJ also shared a horrific event that happened on set when the anonymous actor blew up and blamed it on her. She said, "One day he was filming and it was a scene that I wasn't included in, but he wasn't able to get into the emotion, so he was annoyed, and he yelled out, 'I can't do this.' Then he got out of his seat and left." The actor then told the director that he didn't yell because of the scene, but because EJ was annoying him. The director then took EJ aside and explained that the reason why the actor had started yelling was because he was attracted to EJ and she had rejected his advances, so he wanted to scare her. The revelation was so shocking to her that EJ went to confront the actor. She said that the actor told him that the viewers of the drama criticized their chemistry on screen, which prompted her to apologize for her acting. Then he told her, "Do you know what you need to do to look like a real couple? We need to sleep together, but you don't want to do that, do you?" To which EJ answered no, triggering another attack from him. The actor then started cursing and throwing things at her, which made her retire from acting. Netizens guessed that the actor she was talking about was Oh Ji-ho, as they used to play romantic interests in the drama Single Dad in Love. The actor denied all accusations and even threatened to sue, but it didn't do anything to stop the rumors. Jung Jae-yeon's passing remains one of the most disturbing cases of how the higher-ups in the industry take advantage of women. Jung Jae-yeon was found unconscious in her own home by her sister on March 7th, 2009. As her last note, she had left behind a 7-page document that revealed the 31 names of high-profile personnel in the entertainment industry who had hurt her. She had named the CEO of her entertainment company, Kim Sung-hoon, as the person who had regularly hurt her physically and forced her to have you-know-what with CEOs, directors, and media executives. Though there was an investigation going on, the only person who got arrested was the CEO, who only received a 4-month prison sentence with a year of probation. The case was reopened once again in 2019 after the events of the Burning Sun scandal. Nobody else got arrested, but then other things got revealed. Jae-yeon's manager at the Contents Entertainment, Yoo Dong-ho, and another actress from the same agency, Lee Mi-suk, had conspired together to make Jae-yeon write the letter just so they could use it as a revenge against Sung-hoon. In fact, Dong-ho was the one who made Jae-yeon write the letter by convincing her that they would share her story without revealing her identity, and then she would be free from the company and Sung-hoon. It's devastating to know that she was used even after her passing, and there was only one person out of 31 who suffered the consequences of their actions. Yoon Ji-oh. Another person involved in the Jung Jae-yeon case was Yoon Ji-oh. Yoon Ji-oh was an actress under the same company as Jung Jae-yeon and even witnessed her getting hurt at Kim Sung-hoon's birthday party. In June 2018, she publicly came out to share the story. She said that she had seen with her own eyes how the assailant had pulled Jae-yeon into his lap and started touching her without consent. She also said that she had testified a total of 13 times to the police and prosecution during the initial investigation, but her statement was rejected every time. She claims that this was because the assailant had close ties to the prosecution. She said, "I thought it was weird that he trusted the assailant's words over mine. I was just over 20 years old at the time and didn't have the greatest sense of judgment, but even so, I felt that something was not right. It wasn't until later that I found out the assailant's spouse was a prosecutor." On the other hand, the prosecutor that was in charge of the case in 2009 stated that her testimony was rejected because of inconsistencies, including the man's description. But the prosecutor also admitted that the assailant was his acquaintance, but denied having any bias towards him. Ji-oh said that she was asked to drop from every project that she was doing just because she was under the same agency as Jae-yeon and that she was a witness to the case. The case left her deeply scarred, causing her to receive psychiatric treatment to this day and was even hospitalized. She suffered from guilt of not sharing the story earlier and also was terrified that the truth was just swept under the rug like that. Actress A. While her identity is unknown, this 41-year-old actress helped uncover the disgusting actions of director Kim Ki-dok. In August 2017, an unknown actress that was only referred to as Actress A filed a complaint against director Kim Ki-dok through the Seoul Central District Prosecutor's Office. In this complaint, she claimed that she was fired from the set of his 2013 movie Mobius because she refused to do an unscripted explicit scene. The actress also accused him of slapping her. She said, "It was a living hell. So many nights he came to my room and slammed the door or phoned me in the room repeatedly until I responded. Then he forced himself on me." The actress also revealed that she had quit acting after that and started going to therapy because of all of the trauma. After he was only fined $4,000 due to lack of physical evidence, 2 other actresses came forward with accusations against him. In March of 2018, NBC's PD Notebook aired an episode on the case titled Movie Director Kim Ki-dok, where Actress A and Actress B and C accused Ki-dok and actor Cho Jae-hyun of verbal and physical harassment and involuntary intercourse. In response to the accusations, Ki-dok filed a lawsuit for false accusation and defamation against the accusers and PD Notebook. But NBC didn't back down as they aired another episode just a few months later with more accusations from even more actresses and now even staff members against the two. The episode included an interview with Seoul Metropolitan Police where an official explained that they couldn't indict Ki-dok and Jae-hyun because of the expired statute of limitation. Even though he wasn't arrested, he was ordered by the court to pay legal fees for NBC and Actress A. Ki-dok passed away without being arrested, while Cho Jae-hyun didn't face any consequences for his actions. Choi-yul. Another person who came forward to expose actor Cho Jae-hyun's crimes was actress Choi-yul. In February of 2018, some reports came out about a famous actor who was only referred to as Jay, claiming that he had harassed a female staff member on set. According to the report, Jay had tried to kiss her and even touched her chest and legs without her consent. After that, he had tried to contact her privately several times. Though the actor's identity was not known at the time, his agency came into contact with the reporters and said that the claims were groundless. There were rumors that the actor in question was Cho Jae-hyun, but nothing was confirmed at the time. Actress Choi-yul decided to take matters into her own hands and spoke out against him. She uploaded a screenshot of Jae-hyun's profile on her personal Instagram account and wrote, "I was waiting for you to get exposed. It came a lot earlier than I had expected. This is only the beginning. There are many more trashy people out there. I can't say much since I have a lot to lose, but until the day all perverts disappear, #MeToo, #WithYou." The post was later deleted and her Instagram account was set to private after she started getting threats. She didn't say whether she was one of the victims or if she had just witnessed something, since she was afraid her children would be harmed. Cho Jae-hyun did admit to the accusations and apologized to the victims, but wasn't arrested or imprisoned.
Sometimes the problems run deeper than personal grudges. Whole productions carry secrets the public was never meant to know. The much-anticipated drama starring Jung So-min and Jung Hae-in isn't living up to expectations, and it turns out some shady things are happening behind the scenes. From the moment the drama began airing, something felt off. It premiered with viewership ratings hovering around 5%, which, while not terrible, wasn't the breakout success many had anticipated. Given So-min's beloved status in the rom-com genre and Hae-in's undeniable charisma, fans had high hopes for the show to become a major hit. However, it didn't take long for disappointment to settle in, as the storyline was perceived as weak, and the main characters were written in ways that frustrated many viewers. A particular point of criticism was So-min's character, Sok-ryu. Fans voiced their dissatisfaction, stating that her character was written in a way that wasn't likable, making the drama difficult to watch. But what stirred an even stronger reaction from the public was the troubling dynamic between Sok-ryu and her mother. In the storyline, the two characters have a difficult relationship, marked by constant conflict and tons of fights. Despite Sok-ryu being well into her 30s, her mother frequently puts her hands on her, making several viewers incredibly uncomfortable. This element of conflict was added by the production team to serve as comedic relief, something often seen in traditional K-dramas. However, times have changed, and even domestic audiences have grown more critical of these outdated tropes. Many Korean viewers were shocked by the decision to include physical violence between the characters and label it as humor, especially given Sok-ryu's age. Fans argued that the drama felt regressive, relying on old-fashioned plot lines that are neither funny nor appropriate for today's audience. It appears that Love Next Door quickly lost its charm for many viewers, as ratings absolutely plummeted with the release of episode 7. Despite the show's initial appeal, this episode only managed to pull in a rating of 2.8%, the lowest in the series' history. This huge decline left both fans and critics scratching their heads, wondering what could have gone so wrong. Was it a failure on the part of the scriptwriters to create a more engaging storyline, storyline? Or is this major flop a direct consequence of overused spoilers? Spoilers are a common tactic in the world of television, used in both K-dramas and Western shows to generate suspense and keep viewers hooked. Revealing key moments ahead of time can build anticipation and create a thrill, but this approach is a double-edged sword. Exposing too much, particularly the major plot twists, risks stripping the show of its mysterious aspects. Once viewers feel like they know what's coming, the sense of excitement that keeps them on the edge of their seats vanishes. Without the thrill of the unknown, there's little incentive to continue watching. This lack of surprise may be one reason for the sharp decline in ratings. In combination with frustrating main characters, this creates a recipe for disaster, which might just have been the case for Love Next Door. The ratings suddenly dropping wasn't the only problem with episode 7, since it also included a scene that made viewers feel very uneasy. The scene in question features Seok-ryu walking alone at night down a dark alley. She becomes increasingly anxious when she senses someone following her, only to discover that it's Seung-hyo, played by Hae-jin. Rather than calling out to her, he continues to follow her until she eventually turns around, terrified. When Seok-ryu confronts him demanding to know why he scared her, his response is dismissive. Seung-hyo blames her for running off instead of checking who was following her, saying she could have just looked back. This interaction hit a nerve with many viewers who found Seung-hyo's reaction both tone-deaf and inconsiderate, especially due to the awful things that have been recently happening in South Korea. This felt like a slap across the face for Korean viewers. For many women, the fear of being followed at night is a genuine and serious concern, rooted in real-life dangers. Critics took issue with the script's portrayal of this scenario, particularly how Seung-hyo downplayed her fear, suggesting it was her fault for not checking her surroundings rather than his for not reassuring her. The backlash intensified on social media, with viewers calling out the scene for being disconnected from the reality of women's experiences. Some expressed disbelief that such a dialogue would be considered appropriate in a rom-com, as it trivialized an issue that has been pestering Korea for a long time now. Comments on social media reflected frustration at how the male character's perspective was centered while the female lead's valid fear was treated as an overreaction. Criticizing the production team, a viewer wrote, "I cannot believe the scriptwriter thought this entire conversation was supposed to be a cute back and forth between friends turned lovers. Zero awareness." Although it was a short scene, it went viral for how awful it was. Similarly, episode 4 drew serious criticism due to its English scenes, particularly those featuring actor Haejin, who portrays the character Chris. Viewers have expressed frustration with the quality of the English dialogue, describing it as unclear and awkward. In one memorable scene, Chris critiqued Seok-ryu's English, which many found an ironic moment, given his own difficult-to-understand lines. This scene led to widespread confusion and online complaints as it frustrated a lot of international audiences. Netizens argued it was a bad decision to include English dialogue that wasn't convincingly delivered. Many took to social media to explain how the dialogue undermines the professionalism of the series, with some even finding the scenes unintentionally humorous due to the awkward phrasing and delivery. Things got so out of hand, to the point the backlash reached Haejin, who addressed this criticism in a reflective post. In his letter, he acknowledged the difficulty of learning and speaking English, especially for someone who hasn't had consistent exposure to the language. He revealed personal struggles and highlighted how the role pushed him to grow and improve his language skills. Clapping back at haters, he wrote, "Some people still laugh at my dreams and dismiss them as foolish, but compared to 4 years ago, I've proven myself little by little, and those skeptical looks have significantly decreased." While his response earned sympathy from some, many fans still felt that the production team should have handled the English scenes better, either by coaching actors more thoroughly or cutting out these moments altogether. However, behind the scenes, the production got really shady. Upon seeing the disappointing ratings, some viewers suspect the team behind Love Next Door of creating a publicity stunt. Although some viewers think that Somin and Hae-in have amazing chemistry, others aren't convinced they look all that great together, and they being paired together feels off. This is why, to some netizens, it was incredibly surprising when dating rumors emerged between the two. Since the show premiered, some fans have been rooting for the two, hoping that they would become an item in real life as well. Speculation started when behind-the-scenes footage for the drama dropped, showing the two being very comfortable with each other. Things got even more heated when Haejin showed his affection for Somin through social media. When TVN posted promotional videos of them on their Instagram page, Haejin went out of his way liking Somin's one, but ignoring his own. The rumors escalated when it was reported that the duo are set to travel to Bali for a couple's photo shoot for a magazine, a schedule that many found unusual. While promoting his upcoming film, Haejin was asked about the rumors, to which he gave a vague response, expressing concern that his words might be twisted by the media. Despite this fear, he didn't shy away from sharing a few details about his dynamic with Somin. He reflected on their roles as childhood friends in Love Next Door, explaining that he was initially concerned that a lack of closeness could create awkward moments during filming. To prevent this, both actors, along with the rest of the cast, made efforts to bond before shooting began. Touching on the rumors that their relationship might be more than just professional, Haejin noted, "Neither of us are particularly outgoing, but when introverts become friends, there's a certain vibe. It's true that we've become very comfortable with each other, and that vibe of childhood friends has come through." Some people believe it's very strange that the cast has been paying so much attention to these rumors, especially since the drama is still airing. Not to mention that the Bali trip was weirdly timed, as such forms of promotion are typically scheduled before a show airs or shortly after it begins, not near the finale. Rumors have been going around that this trip, while portrayed as a simple promotional effort for a fashion magazine, could have been a PR stunt to boost the drama's low ratings. Whether true or not, it's clear that Love Next Door needed a boost, especially after episode 8 left fans disappointed. In this episode, a dramatic twist is introduced as Sok-ryu experiences severe stomach pains, leading to the revelation that she had been diagnosed with stomach cancer in the United States, which resulted in the removal of about 70% of her stomach. This new plot point caused a lot of drama online, as the audience believed it was incredibly sudden and unrealistic. Viewers argued it made no sense to introduce such a serious plotline near the end of the drama solely for the shock factor. Netizens immediately took to the internet to compare this development with what happened in Queen of Tears. In this hit drama, a similar cancer diagnosis was introduced when the main couple was just about to reconcile. Viewers accused the writers of Love Next Door of trying to copy this storyline, hoping to generate the same hype. Instead, this approach blew up in their face, as fans couldn't be more dissatisfied. And that's just a glimpse of the shocking feuds shaking the Korean drama world. Which stories surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the latest drama updates.